What's up, guys? Here's a quick video on installing the Torq locker in my Pioneer 500. The actual installing the locker into the carrier is the easy part. The hard part is getting the diff out. The cable that adjusts the four-wheel drive is kind of a pain to play with, and it's kind of tight to get everything out of the way. You got to pull the axles. If you have portals, you got to pull the portals so you can pull the axles. So most of the labor in this job just comes from getting the differential out of the machine. Installing the locker isn't that bad, as you'll see. It comes with good instructions, so read those, but this is a kind of a quick walkthrough of how I do them. Got my new locker from Torq Locker, Torq Master Industries. I've installed a bunch of these in a bunch of different machines. Standard ratcheting looking thing, this all looks the same. One thing that's different is that it came with 2 snap rings. And there's a big note here. Please remove your inboard axle C-clips and install these on the new axle. These ones we provided will allow for easier axle removal. So I've never had an issue getting an axle out before, but I guess what they're saying is the way the snap ring sits in these new splines, it can be hard to get out if you don't put these other ones on there, which seems kind of weird to me. Obviously I'm going to do it, but yeah, I don't know. I guess they gave us some fatter ones or something than these OEM style. I'm not really sure why they did that, but whatever. I'll go ahead and look through the rest of the instructions, see if there's any new updates. I doubt there is. These lockers all kind of install the same way. But yeah, if there's anything interesting, I'll be sure to tell you guys. But basically, you take out your spider gears and your side gear, and you throw in this unit assembled as such. And that's the little ratcheting locker right there. Basically what this does is when you're in 2-wheel drive, it lets it freewheel. So it can slide like this, click, 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 click. And as soon as you put it in 4-wheel drive, pressure from the pin, the factory pin right there, presses on those teeth and it can't freewheel anymore. That's all it does. You don't really have 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, and diff lock. You just have 2-wheel drive and diff lock with one of these units, in my experience. And yes, I am gonna miss having 4-wheel drive non-diff lock, but you gotta have true 4-wheel drive. You just got to. If you're confused by what this spline is here and this extra cover, that's because this is really a P700 diff. Then Honda got lazy and didn't install the locker. No, they didn't. They did that on purpose. They wanted you to buy a different model if you want a front locker. But this differential almost had a cable actuated locker from Honda. That's what these splines are here. And that's what this extra little side case here is. That would be where your front locker mechanism was housed. But otherwise, the P500 is just an open carrier. But it is a very big, beefy differential, which is great. So we're going to install the Torq locker in here, and then we're going to move along with the gear reduction. But yeah, it's a good thing I made all my supports. They had the ability to unbolt them because I had to take that support off, and I also had to take off that support, which is the one that went back here. So be careful how you brace up your A-arms, otherwise it'll make getting your differential out a real pain in the ass. All right, there's the Torq locker installed in the carrier. It's very cool and very tiny. I got some other videos during these talking more about how they work. It's extremely straightforward to install. You don't have to pull out these ring gear bolts. All you have to do is yank this carrier out of the case, drop the gears in there, lightly oil them. The cross pin's kind of a trick to get out. The way I do it is I hammer it down a little bit, and then I kind of polish the hole with a drill bit. Then I hammer it back out this way. Slide your cross pin out to get out the stock spider gears and side gears. You don't need those anymore. And then you just throw the locker in there, put the pin back through, pop the springs in, and put it back together the same way. Obviously pay attention to which side your shims went on, and that's it. I mean, it's a really straightforward install for a P500. It's the easiest one. It's a lot more work getting the diff out of the machine than it is installing the locker, to be honest. But yeah, pretty sweet installation. Don't forget to put the new C-clips they give you on the axles. It looks like they give you a fatter C-clip, so they say it helps the axle come out easier. I don't know, never had issues with that, but they said to do it, so I'm gonna put them on. I got it installed. This is what it sounds like in 2-wheel drive, right? The wheel is ratcheting. That will get quieter. But as soon as you put it into 4-wheel drive, and there is now torque on the pinion gear, it's lock solid. So now this thing has 2 modes, 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel lock. It's not ideal, but it's much better than 3-wheel drive at best. So, good mod. These gears will not fit in a Rancher 420. That's a different style diff. That has cam and cam followers. I want them to make a locker for the 420. I've been working on it. I don't think they're gonna do it because most people just buy a 500.